9:30 or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at tombernardshow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes, indeed, ladies and gentlemen. We're just talking about my best friend of all time, Andy Fisher, who I named my son, Catherine and I named our son Andy after Andy Fisher. It's his birthday today. I always remember it because his birthday is a command, March 4th. Get it? See what I'm saying?
Pick up your bags and march away.
March away. March the hell out of here. So we'll be thinking about Andy all day, especially when Andy, my son, comes on. It was so very sweet because when Andy Fisher was dying, unfortunately, he died about a year and a half ago, something like that. Although I always get that wrong now. You know, that one guy, remember he died about 5 years ago? No, Tom, that was actually like 17 years ago.
Yeah, like, you got to retrain your brain. 5 years ago was really 10 years ago now.
I have that for sports. Mm-hmm. I remember at the end of like Darren Sproles' career, or like even like a year or two after he retired, I was like, he's still an elite running back.
Yeah.
And no, people are like, no, he's in like crutches, dude.
Whoops.
What are you talking about?
But other than that, you had it dialed right in.
Yeah, exactly.
Ladies and gentlemen, I saw this headline just now. Minnesota drivers say economics of Uber and Lyft don't add up. What do they mean? I don't take Uber or Lyft or any of that stuff. I've been in them. Other people. Mm-hmm. If I go somewhere, I want to drive myself. Well, because I don't drink. I suppose that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
If you're drinking, you should take Uber and Lyft. Absolutely. Don't be driving drunk. That's not a good idea. Or even impaired in any way. But what doesn't the economics? Were they Uber and Lyft making too much money? Is that the problem here?
Well, it depends. I guess I'm not sure 100% what article you're looking at, but I know a lot of people when Uber first came out, it was like, oh, it's a great alternative to drive and could save you money. It's cheap to get from point A to point B, and now it's not as cheap as it once was.
Yeah, it's kind of like how Chipotle back in the day was like $6-7. You got this feast of food, and now it's like you're paying $18, and I'm so hungry afterwards.
Yep.
Like,
really?
Yeah, they got the extra fees, and then it's, their surge pricing, which is like during the busier hours, or if you're within a certain radius of like an airport, the price just happens to be a little bit higher, and it depends on the day. So like if you're trying to get back from a Friday night downtown or whatever, the price is going to be so much higher than it would be on like a Tuesday afternoon. So it's gotten a lot more expensive.
Yep.
Right. Okay, so I just saw what this is all about. While the rideshare companies say they pay fairly, elected officials could mandate minimum wages. I have always thought that is a horrible idea for politicians who sit around in their fat asses and don't do anything but money grub get to tell me how much I pay people. I mean, I'm not talking about me because the only employees I have are my son and my daughter. Those are my employees right there, so. And I try to stiff them every chance I get. You know what I mean?
If they're on strike, just outside the house picketing.
The kids, Andy and Alex, are on strike against
They give a little sign to Sage so he can show his support.
There are a lot of things about politics I really do not understand now. Like I said, how a politician who sits around in their ass and does nothing can tell me how much I need to pay someone. Because did you see in California now, like diner servers have to be paid $20 an hour?
Yeah.
How are they going to make that up?
Yeah, and it all comes back to the consumers, because you're going to now have to raise prices in order to pay your employees. And I mean, even you see it here a lot in the service industry. You'll get these fees of essentially they call it like a service charge, I guess, where it's, hey, this percentage, it's like 3%, and it goes back to our employees for like health benefits or to help pay the employees. So it all just gets passed on to people that are buying the product. And Uber has gotten into a lot of trouble, and I guess Lyft as well, with just kind of their wages. They feel like the drivers are not paid that much. And then I know there was that scandal where they were taking you on routes that maybe were a block further than it needed to be. So
I've seen that. I saw a college kid like passed out in some Uber. He tried to go home or whatever, and he lived like 10 minutes, from campus, so to go to his parents' house. But then the driver took him on this long and winding trip around, and it was like an hour and a half drive just to drop him off. And they tried to like dispute the fee, and it's like, well, no, but he should have said, hey, you're going the wrong way.
Yeah. Well, I've even had an Uber driver where he's like, this says we're going to take the long way, but I know that the other way is quicker. And so you're going to get charged less, and I can get an extra drive in or an extra in later.
There you go. That's not bad. No question about it. every time I think about diner waitress, of course, my mother was a diner waitress her whole life, and so I think about that. But my favorite thing that I do remember, every time somebody says the word diner to me, there's a place called Kokomo's where my mother worked on 26th Avenue North between DuPont and Emerson. It was right. Schweigert Meats used to be. Remember Schweigert Meats?
Yeah.
That was right across the street. The Schweigert family are very nice people, actually. But
they make a good sausage.
They do. There's no question about it. That's what the girl said at the picnic. But in any case, moving forward, this guy who worked at Schweigert's and would come over there, and I would help my mother out, clearing the tables or doing whatever. He said, Tommy, you got to meet my wife someday. My wife is stunningly beautiful. I want you to meet her. I think it'd be great because I like you and I like my wife, and you guys should meet. There's no question about it. I said, why don't you bring your picture in? Because at least then I'd know who she was when I met her. So he brings this picture in, and he shows. Now you have to understand something. I'm like 15 at the time. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm a very young boy, and he shows me the picture. This woman has a beautiful face, but she weighs about 400 pounds, that's fine. You weigh 400 pounds, you weigh 400 pounds, all the rest of it. And I'm going, how is her face so thin and the rest of her body so big? And I literally realized before I turned to him and said, what is this all about? That the dress she was wearing blended in with the chair she was sitting in. So the chair looked like part of her dress. I'm like, what the hell? How could your face be so thin and then you weigh 400 pounds? I don't understand. Look, you want to weigh 400, that's your business. I don't give a rat's ass. I've never been big on that kind of deal. Matter of fact, I just went for a walk and I ran into a woman. She said, you're running and going out here every day and walking and all the rest of it and blah, blah. I said, yeah. We're going to do this, that, and the other thing. People are very, very supportive about walkers. I've known, maybe not runners so much because you run by, I guess, but walkers, people on the streets tend to be very friendly to walkers. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, I think so. Because it's like, even if you're on like a little brisk walk, you're not like fighting for every last breath you get out of your lungs.
Hey, top of the morning.
Great to see you.
And a lot of runners take themselves, I think, too seriously. My favorite is when they're at an intersection waiting for the light to change and they kind of like jog in place. Or they're like doing the pulse check.
If you check your pulse on a jog, we would not be friends. I'll tell you that.
I agree.
I'm sure you're all about your fitness, but you're taking it way too seriously. You're already running. That's enough. Your heart rate's high. I
agree. We will take a break, be right back, and complain about sports because Phil Mackey will join us. And you're twins. Twins have won, 2 games so far this year? Is that right? Two games, huh?
Oh, no. Were you looking at the box scores again?
Yes.
Oh, no.
That's going to be hell to pay, I'll tell you that. It is preseason. I know they don't give their best in preseason. Even if they say they're playing their hardest, they're not. So we'll see how it shakes out. But they tied again. What are they tied, like 4 times now?
Not a loss.
That's right.
That's true. It's not a lot. Phil Mackey will fill us in on right after this. Minnesota business owners pay too much in taxes. You don't have to take my word for it. Tax Foundation, you know them, has just released its state business tax climate index. Minnesota's near the bottom with the 45th worst tax climate in the United States. We all knew that. Minnesota loves to tax the piss out of people. When you expand or relocate your business to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, you'll be basking in the second best tax climate in the nation. That's just one reason why no matter what size your business you own, you can increase your profits in Sioux Falls. We've got the proof at SiouxFallsDevelopment.com. In Sioux Falls, which is a beautiful town anyway, by the way. Been there many times. They have safe streets, award-winning schools, short commutes, vibrant, growing downtown, and pro-business attitude are all attractive reasons to make you move. And we've got a motivated workforce that's ready to help your business grow, too. Escape the high taxes of Minnesota by planning your expansion or relocation to Sioux Falls. 2024 is the time to make your move to Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Check out SiouxFallsDevelopment.com.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
In addition to having the best selection in town, K&L Surplus and Ammo also can help you sell your firearms safely and worry-free. That's always good news, man. Selling a firearm's got to be a little stressful. Not with K&L Surplus, though. If you've inherited a collection of firearms from a loved one, don't know what to do with them, or if you have guns you're no longer using, call Jim at K&L Surplus and Ammo. Jim can help you sell those firearms safely through consignment and auction. I know Jim. He's extremely knowledgeable and will help you get top dollar. He will help you explore all the options and take the work and stress off of your shoulders. K&L Surplus and Ammo is on Lake Drive in Lina Lakes and open Tuesday through Saturday. You can also visit them online at www.klgunstore.com.
You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Time for a little sports with Phil Mackey. Ladies and gentlemen, SKOR North. And, of course, your Minnesota Twins still have just 2 victories so far this year. They like to tie a lot, I've noticed. They like to end in a tie.
We need to really move you off of spring training baseball and
you really do.
Into other sports realms. I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. I've watched 0 spring training baseball so far because A, it's not televised, so
correct.
You know. And B, this is the most fun time of year in the National Football League, Tom. What needs to happen for us to get you from spring training baseball box scores to Kirk Cousins watch 2024?
How about winning a Super Bowl the first time in 65 years ever? Oh,
yeah.
My God. Has it been 65 years, correct? Or no, 63 years.
No, well, 1961 was the first year, 24. Right?
So it's, 63 years.
So 64 because we're counting the 60.
Right.
No, 63. You're right. 63.
This is 63, yeah.
Carry the 4.
63 years. I sat through 4 Super Bowls. They looked terrible in all 4 of them. I love my Vikings, but I also hate my Vikings. I'd like you to know that.
So to that point, right, winning a Super Bowl should be the only goal for this franchise.
Correct.
And they're sitting here between now and essentially next Monday or Tuesday trying to figure out, is Kirk Cousins at $40 million a year or whatever it's going to be, is he the one to take the Vikings to the promised land for the first time? I'm going to read you. No. My goal is to make Tom's head explode in the next 10 minutes, okay?
Thank you.
Let's see if we can do it.
Thank you.
This is from Dan Graziano, ESPN NFL Insider. And so the NFL Combine was last week. There's all this information flying around. And Dan Graziano says, the sense I'm getting is the Vikings still want Kirk Cousins to return, but Cousins has a very specific idea in mind for what he wants in a new contract. And the Vikings so far have not made an offer that matches Cousins' demands.
All right. So you want my first criticism of the story?
Sure.
It was written by an Italian. Who cares?
Sorry, Dan. Sorry, Dan Graziano. Go eat some more pasta, guy.
I grew up with Italians. I can take shots at them. There's no question about it. No, look, I'm sorry, but he is not worth anywhere near $40 million a year. He's never won anything.
Tom, he is not. The man has a family, so I'm not going to try and dump on him too much here. But Kirk Cousins is 16-47 in his career against winning teams.
Right.
He has 1 playoff win in 9 years as a starting quarterback in the NFL. I was watching F1 yesterday for a while on ESPN, just flipping around. This would be like a Toyota Camry holding an F1 race team over a barrel,
Yep.
Like, what? Just go get another car. What are we doing here?
And it doesn't. Oh, I'll say it doesn't help that Atlanta is offering him essentially name your price $100 million for 2 years to go down there. So
go away.
A lot more.
He's terrible. Every time it's a clutch situation, he does nothing. Have you ever noticed that?
Have I noticed that? No, never in my life have I complained about Kirk dropping the ball, checking down on, hey, your season's on the line. It's 4th and 8. You can either, I don't know, throw into a double team Justin Jefferson, who's the best wide receiver in the NFL, or you can check it down to your plotting tight end. Yeah. I mean,
Well, Phil, you know what pushed me over the top? I'm on vacation down at the Breakers down in Florida, and sitting next table over is Kirk Cousins. And I looked at him and I said, he's a stick man. The guy weighs about 120 pounds, for Christ's sake.
Do you say that to his face?
I would. He's a tiny little fella.
I mean, here's the thing about him, though. I know you're saying he's garbage, and I've been hard on him.
He's terrible.
But in reality, he's right on the line of, he is like the exact point of quarterback comfort that makes it hard to move off of him, because he's going to throw for 4,000 yards. He's going to throw for 300 yards in a game, and he's going to put up decent statistics. But to your point, against the winning teams, in the biggest moments, he doesn't rise up like some of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. But boy, there's only like 12 guys better than him, and so you got to be careful. You can talk yourself into a pretzel. But I think at this point, it's been 6 years. He was brought in here for a reason 6 years ago, and that was to win a Super Bowl. They've done nothing close to that. Mm-hmm. So this fear of moving off of him is fascinating to me. But
I have a question. What did he do at Washington that the reason they brought him here? He never did anything in Washington either.
He put up a bunch of sort of hollow regular season statistics.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. He padded, and he's better now than he was when they signed him. But he puts. If you were to look at just his statistics on the back of a football card, you'd think, oh my God, this dude could be a Hall of Famer. He probably has a bunch of playoff success. Maybe has a Super Bowl. Tim Tebow has as many playoff wins as Kirk Cousins.
That's correct. And where's he been lately?
Yeah, wasn't he playing Double-A baseball like 3 years ago?
I think so, yeah. I just don't understand the love of people who have never, unless you've won, get away from me. Go away. If you're a winner, let's go. Right?
I don't disagree. And then here's the funny thing. Now you've got me started. This is great.
Let's go.
So here's the funny thing. You can sit here and talk about, all right, he's 16-47 against winning teams, and he only has one playoff win. And then, as I call them, the Cousins Crusaders, the people that you think we're getting a 10% commission for him, every time he signs a new contract. They're like, well, football's a team game, Tom. You can't just put a win-loss record on one guy. Say, okay, let's go down that path. Even though quarterback is the most influential position to winning in the entire sport, right?
Correct.
Let's put that aside. Football is a team game. So why are you, Kirk Cousins Crusaders, advocating for him to make like 20% of the team's salary cap when there's 53 guys on a roster? It's a team game. Okay, maybe we can take some of that money and pay some of the team to be better too. So I'm just sick of the cycle. It's been 6 years of the same thing, and I'm ready to get off the ride.
I understand completely. Look, I mean, I tend to be very honest about my love of the Vikings, and I do love the Vikings. And we used to have Bud Grant in all the time. Bud was never friendly to me because apparently I didn't, give him money or something. But I still will never understand. What I'm saying right now is the coaching has a lot to do with it as well. Okay? Coaching is big in this. The fact that Bud Grant did not give Chuck Foreman the ball in the Super Bowl, that was Bud's fault they lost that Super Bowl, flat out.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. You got one of the best running backs in the history of the franchise, one of the best all time in football, and you don't give him the ball at the 2-yard line? What is wrong with you?
Isn't this great? I love when, whenever anyone in the state, whether it's us right now or just people at dinner at a bar, whenever you start talking Vikings, it just turns into a bitch fest, right? It could, the conversation could start anywhere. It could be like, oh, did you see? It's a really nice day on the plaza outside the stadium today. And 10 minutes in, you're like, but the '98 championship game pissed me off so much.
Brett Favre across the body against the Saints.
What was he doing? Yeah.
I'm right there with, look, I just, and I don't hate Bud Grant, and that's not it at all. I think Bud was highly overrated, to tell you the truth. People thought he was a big winner. Well, he never won a Super Bowl.
Well, so to your point, and I didn't get a chance to watch those Bud Grant teams. You did, so it's hard for me to.
Yeah.
I can't. All I can do is look at the box scores like you do with Twin Spring Training right now. But I think when it comes to these players and coaches in Vikings history, because they've never won at the level, they've never won a Super Bowl, they've never had a dynasty, they've never been the Patriots, the Chiefs, all these things. So we sit here and say things like, well, Kirk Cousins is one of the 2 best quarterbacks in franchise history. Okay, well, what's that list look like? It's like Fran Tarkenton, Tommy Kramer, and Dante Culpepper. I mean, it's not like we're talking about 6 Hall of Famers, and he's trying to crack the top 5 on that list. But
my one criticism of Dante Culpepper: why don't we worry about winning rather than wearing a suit made out of money?
yeah.
I mean, how can you even think of wearing that suit? You have never won a damn thing.
Yeah, but he was so good. He just would drop back like a
He was
12-yard drop back and just launch it to
Get your roll on. Get your roll on.
And wasn't that all because he traveled in a basketball game in high school or something like that? That he didn't think he traveled, and
so then he did the get your roll on.
Yep.
Amazing. Yeah, Dante also had the small hands. You know, he had this he was like a 260-pound linebacker body with like the hands of a toddler, and so he fumbled like 23 times in one season.
Yeah. Well, he should have been MVP when was it the year that Peyton Manning threw for like 50 touchdowns? Dante had thrown for like I think it was 49 and just absolutely was killing it, but Peyton Manning ended up having a Hall of Fame career year.
Yep.
Well, it's the way it goes. And that's right. Has Peyton Manning ever won anything? Oh, that's right. He has.
A couple Super Bowls. Probably should have won more, though. Probably should have won more than 2 Super Bowls.
You're right.
You know?
I agree with you on that.
Not for Tom Brady and Bill Belichick sitting over there.
You have to understand one other thing, and I try to be honest about these things. Chuck Foreman is a very good friend of mine, so I will always be pissed off. And I love Chuck Foreman. He's one of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. Very gracious man, supreme talent. He had it all. I just love Chuck Foreman, so that's why I get a little more pissed off at Bud for doing what he did.
I feel like Chuck Foreman too would be great in any era of football. Like, he could catch passes. He was super athletic. He was quick. You know, he could block on third down. All those things. Wouldn't that be fun? Take athletes from 30, 40, 50. People say like, you know, Babe Ruth is the greatest baseball player of all time. Like, what would happen if you took hot dog eating Babe Ruth from 1930 and put him into today's game? Would he just be terrible? Would he adjust?
I think he would be terrible. You can't eat you can't eat hot dogs and drink beer between innings.
Do you know how? Imagine like a healthy Shohei Ohtani up there on the mound, buzzing 99 past Babe and then mixing in an 81-mile-per-hour splitter. Like, what are we talking about here? He would be lights out.
Right. Babe like rubs the ketchup and relish off his mouth.
A beer stain on his jersey. Yeah.
Can you imagine that though? When he made $100,000 a year in the 30s was that? Or maybe it's even the 20s.
Yeah, he made more money. He bragged at one point that he made more money than the president back in those days.
Who doesn't?
But now it's like pretty much every athlete makes more than the president. Right?
You got that by, I would say, several $1 million a year.
But I think back in the day when sports, you know, when there was no free agency, it was a bigger deal to make more than the president.
Yeah, that's true. You're absolutely right. Look, I love the Vikings, love my Twins. I don't know anything about hockey, but I like hockey players. They're nice people. Yeah. Basketball is not my kind of deal. College basketball I like. Professional basketball is just too much for me.
Well, how about Caitlin Clark, the Iowa star?
Amazing.
Just broke Pistol Pete Marin. Now, Pistol Pete played 3 years back in the 60s and averaged like 45 points a game. Mm-hmm. Caitlin Clark did it in 4 years, but she's the all-time men's or women's leading scorer now in college basketball history.
You know what's amazing about that? She sets up at the line, the free throw line, to make the shot, which would put her over the top as the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
It didn't come near the rim. It was all net, baby. It was unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's you know, and not, you know, the pressure. I guess in that moment, it's just in any other game, it's just a technical free throw or whatever. But you know that the entire world is watching to see if you'll make that to break the record, and she just cashes it.
Just bam, right down the heart. It was unbelievable. And then she just kind of walked away. She didn't go any, this all this bullshit. She just walked away like, yeah. I knew I was going to make it. Don't worry about a thing.
She's awesome, man. I mean,
I love her.
She's probably the most popular women's basketball player in the history of women's college basketball, right? I mean, she's literally selling out. I heard something this morning that she has sold out 26 of the 30 arenas she's played in so far this year. Teams that would ordinarily not be selling out their home arenas, but they're paying. They played an exhibition game at the football stadium that sold out 55,000 seats or something.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it's crazy, man.
The entire women's Big Ten championship tournament here this week sold out because everybody's like, we're going to get to see her play,
right? Yeah.
Presumably all the way up through the final.
Sounds like it. There's no doubt about it. Another big report, Phil. We got all the troubles of the sports world covered. We no longer have any problems at all whatsoever, except for our baseball team's won 2 games so far this year. But
you know what though, you don't want to peak too early in baseball, Tom. You don't want to be playing your best baseball in March, late February. You want to ramp it up. Baseball is a slow burn. It's a marathon. So we'll check back in next week.
Thanks, Dad. Nice talking to you, Dad. That was fatherly advice right there is what that was. All right, pal. We'll look forward to talking to you on Friday.
Sounds good. I'll keep you guys posted on Kirk Watch 2024.
Kirk Watch. Please don't say that to me ever again. Kirk Watch.
Just a bag of cash being delivered to the Cousins family estate.
How about the Kirk Watch? Watch him drive out of town. Go away. The guy can't get it done. There's no way he's ever going to win a Super Bowl. No way.
I think you're right, and I think it's time to explore life after Kirk. Okay, so come on, Vikings. Do the right thing.
All right, Pally. Talk to you Friday.
See you guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, SKOR North Phil Mackey. We'll talk to Judd tomorrow. Of course, take a break right here. Be right back with Chris Egert. They call him Mr. News now. I don't know if you know that or not.
That's what I hear. He's like a superhero.
Superhero, yes.
Captain News.
Captain News. We'll be right back. Have you enjoyed Minnesota's non-winter this year? Want to enjoy the warmth wherever you want? 2 Minnesotans can help you live that dream, by the way. Matt Carlson from Realty One Group Destination Key West. He grew up in Litchfield, Minnesota. Started out helping his friends find homes locally and in Florida, as a matter of fact, and now he can help you. If you've considered living in the warmth of Florida, now is the time to reach out to your new friend in Realty. His name is Matt Carlson. Matt's a great guy. It is a buyer's market now, and your Minnesota friend, Matt, can help you with a new home here or in the Florida Keys. And if you need some guidance with financing, Kristyn Eklund from Coast to Coast Mortgage can help. Kristyn is Matt's preferred lender. You can finance anywhere in Florida. And like Matt is one of us, as she hails from the Sartell, Alexandria area. So if you're looking at a new home in Minnesota, or maybe that second home or retirement place in Florida, trust your new local friends and contact Matt and Kristyn. Visit onekeywest.com. That is onekeywest.com. Or you can call Matt. His number is 612-791-2345, 612-791-2345, and work with local professionals. And the biggest part of that is local professionals you can trust.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought, we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so he made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings, or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
Mike Lindell and MyPillow employees want to thank my listeners for all of your continued support. It's very nice of you. To thank you, they're having an overstock clearance and new product sale right now for the best prices ever when you use promo code TOM, and you get free shipping on your entire order, which is phenomenal. Get 50% off the MyPillow 2.0. Also get 50% off the brand new flannel sheets that just arrived. They won't last long. 6-pack towel sets are only $29.98, and take advantage of the free shipping on larger items such as mattresses or mattress toppers, 100% made in the USA, on sale for as low as $99.99. Everything is on sale from the brand new kitchen towels that have the same technology as the bath towels that actually absorb, dog beds, blankets, couch pillows, and so much more. To get the best specials ever, go to MyPillow.com or call 800-516-5146. Use promo code TOM, and you get free shipping on your entire order. So call 800-516-5146 or go to MyPillow.com and use promo code TOM.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast. Listen live weekday mornings, 8 to 9:30, or anytime you like as a podcast on the Tom Barnard app at TomBarnardShow.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
Okay, now I have to do this professionally. Wait a second. Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation. The number, 952-925-5608. What do you think, Mr. Egert?
I would love to have you, like, in real life, just to walk around with and, like, go to the grocery store and crap, and you just use your, like, big movie guy voice to just announce stuff, and then he grabbed the mac and cheese.
The mac and cheese.
For plastic over paper bags.
You horn tootin'. I'd like to pollute the universe if I possibly could.
I would love that.
Yeah, we could do that. We can get that done. There's no problem with that whatsoever. So, what's new in your world, Pally?
Well, crazy, awesome weather day here yesterday. That was our big the big deal, a record breaker, and then a big fire. This is weird. So a big fire sparked down in Waseca, which is, kind of south of Mankato, southwest, not quite southwestern Minnesota, but you know where Waseca is. Anyway, there's this big fire, and the wind was blowing so freaking hard. It was just coming like right up Interstate 35. It blew this smoke all the way up into the Twin Cities and beyond, and like actually sparked like thunderstorms and rainstorms in like northern Wisconsin because of the smoke that could come all the way from southern Minnesota. It was super weird.
I understand that completely. It was 70 yesterday in Minneapolis, St. Paul, huh?
Yeah. And then the sunset was really weird last night because there's a bunch of smoke in the air, not only from that Waseca thing, but also there'd been some smoke in the skies because of the big fires burning down in Texas too. So weird.
One of those deals, no question about it.
And I think what happened last night, have you guys ever done as youth from the area, have you ever gone into the old Wabasha Street Caves situation?
Oh, yeah, many times.
Did you?
I don't think so.
I've watched enough horror movies to know to stay out of street caves. Are you kidding me?
Come on, you big baby. It's just a bunch of corpses. What's the problem?
Well, about every 6 months, somebody needs to be rescued out of the caves, which was the case last night. So it's a technical rescue to get them out of the cave. I don't know how they're doing yet either. So
wait, is that where they do like the dances and stuff? And it's like a club, or not a club, but there's like a restaurant and stuff in there.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. No, but I think this is sort of in the area where you're not supposed to be like exploring and going, and that happens quite often. Where it also happens quite often around here that somebody will climb into one of the old grain elevators somewhere and be urban exploring and fall, get hurt, then they've got to come and rescue, blah 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 blah. Yeah. As a parent, I'm like I could see my oldest kid like just like, oh, I decided to go. And I'm like, he's always like, it'd be fun to go explore those grain elevators. And I'm like, dude, stay out of there. It never goes well, right? Like, just don't. That's a terrible idea.
Why would I want to go into a damn grain elevator? I have no understanding why you'd even want to do that.
I mean, the cave thing, I guess. What did you guys do when you got into the cave, Tom?
Well, there's some areas you can go into.
Gotcha.
Tevin's right. There is a restaurant, or there was. I don't know if there still is a restaurant in there and all that stuff. But it's just kind of cool to walk around and look at the different rock formations and the water flow and that kind of stuff. Is very interesting.
Yep. Yeah, the river's really weird if you travel along there and look up and see the caves, and the geology is really interesting. And I think we sort of take it for granted because it runs right through the city, and you don't always look at it as being a pretty neat piece of nature right here. You just look at it as a dirty river.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely
You just look at it as something you're not going to swim in.
Yep. No.
Yeah, I've never been swimming in the Mississippi River. My friends used to go over the Plymouth Avenue Bridge and jump off the bridge into the water, which the cops did not like. They did not like that at all.
I don't suppose they did.
But I never did that. I'm like, nah, I'm good with that. I'll stay with the creek. Minnehaha Creek or, Bassett's Creek. I'm good.
One of my buddies lived in Anoka, and so north of the Twin Cities, and they lived along the river, and it was like they were in the river all the time. It was like, but that's on that side of the Twin Cities, and I think presumably a little less stuff being.
Yeah, I've seen enough.
Water.
I've seen enough people in the cities do some stuff into the river where I'm good on not. There. Yeah.
Not like drop a deuce though.
Dropped a couple of things.
They dropped a couple.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Who needs
I'm
it?
guessing there's quite a few people with cement shoes not floating, but down there too.
Yeah.
I guarantee you back in Tommy's early days, those guys, those gangsters used to hang out on Plymouth Avenue all the time. That's where they lived. So you would see them and, Mom, let me ask you a question. How come that guy's so well dressed and everybody else in the neighborhood isn't? Well, he's probably got a good job. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever, Mom.
He's a banker.
Yeah.
Yes, he's a banker. That's right. He's a banker. There's no question about it. It's, and there's that other thing. You talk about the Mississippi River being a problem. The Bassett's Creek went through a problem, as a matter of fact. Not one, not two, but 3 dead hookers were found in Bassett's Creek in my childhood. So, I don't know if I'd go wading into that creek either with the blood and the pus floating down from the dead body.
Oh, God.
Well, it's true. I'm like, you don't know if there's a dead body upstream or not. You have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Here's the golden rule. If you're going to go in any body of water, keep your mouth shut. Don't let any of that water get... And try to keep it away from your face as much as possible. So
100% correct. See, that's so accurate. I got to ask you a question now, because my theory on human beings is they're always wrong, no matter what they do, because they push way too hard. How about this headline this morning in the Wall Street Journal? Electric cars emit more particulate pollution. They might pollute more than gas-burning cars. I just love people.
Well, even at the, that's been pretty. I mean, some of that stuff's been known for a while.
Absolutely.
Like the batteries that those things run on. There's all kinds of crap going on with those.
Yep.
So I think it's one of those things where somebody feels better about it in one aspect because of XYZ, but then you're like, well, where do you think that electricity is coming from? It's probably coal burning that actually is powering the charge on your battery, right? So
that's exactly it. And by the way, I did hear it yesterday. It was 70 degrees in Minneapolis, St. Paul, but I heard a guy on the national news say, well, it is global warming. Could we just get through one 70-degree day in March without you bitching about it? Would that be possible, do you think?
It's interesting to see people's takes on this weather, this in particular, this winter.
Yep.
Because I think back to 2012, there was a crazy mild spring, and because my dad was still alive, I remember this because he was at Abbott, and I would go to visit him, and it was St. Patrick's Day, and it was like 70 degrees outside, kind of like it was yesterday. And so I remember that being such a crazy warm year, but I don't really remember at that point, what is that, 11, 12 years ago, I don't remember everybody exclaiming that it had to have been global warming at that point. But you definitely look, I was looking at social media regrettably for a little bit yesterday, and it was like, depending on what side of the fence you're on that one, it was like, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. It should never be 70 degrees this early in March, or I don't know.
Tell them to settle down and shut up. How about that?
Listen, I'm not touching global warming with a 10-foot pole.
No, can we just enjoy the nice weather for a day and keep it pushing, guys? Like, we don't need to tell how the world's gonna end.
I know you got to go, so we'll close with this. One of the biggest frauds in history, and it's got nothing to do with his political affiliation or the rest of it. The man's just been a fraud his whole life. Al Gore, traveling from city to city to bitch about global warming, and every city he went to, there were 8 SUVs that followed him around wherever he went.
Don't forget about the airplane. Don't forget about the airplane.
Let's not forget that either.
That's always the big one. It's like,
fraud.
you know how much jet fuel costs, and that's.
But his cousin was a good friend of mine, so there you go.
I interviewed him so long ago. It was like one of my first memories in TV. There was a really bad flooding. You remember when downtown Fargo burned up in 94?
Yep.
I think it was 90. Maybe it was 96.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 96. that year there was really bad flooding, and I was working in Sioux Falls, and the water basically came right down and, emptied. The flooding ended up in South Dakota, and Gore was doing a visit to South Dakota and North Dakota, I think, at the time. And we stood out next to this creek or lake or something for like 3 hours with the Secret Service, like freezing our butts off. He showed up, did like a 5-minute news conference, turned around and left. And then we were like, okay, well, I guess that's it.
3 hours for that.
Yeah, it was crazy. And the Secret Service guys were bitching because they were cold and all they wanted to do was get back. One guy had a date that night and he was like really worried about getting back in time for the date. Weird.
What the hell? What are you going to do? He's not my favorite person, but his cousin was a great guy.
That's good.
He used to refer to me as Mr. Barnard. How are you doing, Mr. Barnard? Not bad. Gore, how are you doing? Everything's good, man. Just a great guy. He was a brilliant man, I'll tell you that. Big time. No question.
From here?
No. Gore Vidal.
Oh, I didn't know that's who you were talking about.
Oh, yeah, Gore Vidal, yeah. He's a great guy. He was a really good guy. I used to interview him a lot, and then he and I would talk on the phone, and we had some interesting conversations, I will tell you that. Very
big brain on that guy, right?
He had a very big brain, no question about it. So I think he was looking for balance. He had a huge brain, and I had a small one, so we were looking to kind of meet in the middle.
Not true, man. He needed a new perspective.
I'll get one by this time tomorrow.
Fantastic.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye, guys.
Thank you, sir. Bye. Channel 5's Chris Egert is brought to you by Mr. Money Talk, Josh Arnold. Call Josh today for your free 48-minute evaluation at 952-925-5608. Channel 5's Chris Egert, one of my favorites. I love that guy. Have I ever told you that before?
You might have, but I forgot.
Me too. I forgot all about it.
We don't often love him. It's every once in a while.
Yep.
Let's go with love. We love you, Chrissy. Let's call him Chrissy when we say we love him. What do you say? Oh, Chrissy.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take a break. Be right back. Oh, God. We already dealt with an Italian this morning, that guy you were talking about. Now I got to deal with another Italian in Sansevere. It's not fair.
We can go to break early when he's on. Hey, Bob. Bye, Bob.
Cut him off right in the middle. We'll take a break. Be right back. Sandy will join us right after this. When you go to a restaurant, you expect the chef to be an expert, correct? You expect your auto mechanic to be an expert when it comes to fixing your car. God, I hope so. You judge them both by the results of their work. Josh Arnold is an expert in investments and planning your financial future. Josh Arnold is my expert, and he should be yours too, as a matter of fact. I talk to Josh every week, and he understands the market, the economy, and he knows how to plan for your retirement. Do not put it off another day. You heard me. Don't put it off another day. The man with your plan is Josh Arnold. Call Josh now for a no-obligation 48-minute evaluation. You got nothing to lose, and you'll have an expert planning and managing your financial future. Call Josh at 952-925-5608. That's 952-925-5608. Investment services offered by Josh Arnold Investment Consultant, LLC Security Investment Advisor. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. All investments involve risk. All comments and opinions are Josh Arnold's and do not constitute investment advice. Tom Arnold. That's good. How about Tom Barnard is a paid endorser? No, let's go with Tom Arnold. No, Tom Barnard is a paid endorser. Thank you.
Is that text you're sending so important that you missed your turn? Is that text you're sending so important that you ran the red light? Is that text you're sending so important you didn't see the ball coming onto the road or the child that followed? Hi, I'm Mike Bryant from Bradshaw & Bryant. When you take your eyes off the road for even 4 seconds, your vehicle travels 100 yards. That's the entire length of a football field. If you absolutely have to text, you need to pull off the road somewhere safe and do it from there. Texting and driving is against the law and can cause serious injury or even death to you and others. Now that is important. We hope you're never injured in a collision, but if you are, please contact us.
Find Bradshaw & Bryant, personal injury attorneys at minnesotapersonalinjury.com.
Going farther with Mike Bryant on your side, seeking justice for the injured. Bradshaw and Bryant.
March means it's springtime, and that means spring cleaning, and your carpets and air ducts are the first item on my list. Your carpet and ducts are your biggest air filters in your home, and you could be breathing in nasty dust, dander, and bacteria. Zero Res's platinum-rated cleaning systems and environmentally friendly ZR water to the rescue with these limited-time offers. 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $129 off $40 savings, $75 off air duct cleaning, and 20% off all upholstery cleaning. Zero Res has over 17,000 reviews with an average 4.9 star rating, so their gotta love it guarantee ensures your spring cleaning will leave your home looking and smelling how it should. Call 952-ZEROREZ or visit ZeroResMinnesota.com to schedule your spring cleaning offer today, and be sure to ask for the Tom Barnard special. Zero Res. Spell it forward or backward, it spells the same. Schedule your appointment today and beat the spring cleaning rush.
This is the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are back. I just got a message from someone, which I don't understand. I've never gotten this before. The United States Postal Service package has arrived at the warehouse and cannot be delivered due to incomplete address information.
Don't do it.
Scamola.
Don't do it.
I know. It's true, isn't it?
Ignore it. It's probably Bob trying to scam you.
Probably some Italian, typical. Scammy Italians.
Isn't it time we went to break, Tevin? I heard you.
I was wondering why you had that look on.
Whoops.
I meant we're gonna extend your segment.
Yeah, right. Oh, I got it. Okay.
Yes, that's
I
what.
don't know, you have to say a few words before, and I got to tell you a quick story. Well, brought to you by, or you did that already. I'm sorry. I don't want to step on you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please pay attention, because Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyer, is seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at Minnesota Personal Injury. Bob Sansevere Sports is brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers. Seeking justice for the injured. Bob Sansevere.
Love the song.
Love it, man. It's a wonderful song. What's happening with you, Sandy?
Well, I got to do, based on what Tevin had just said, we go to every Sunday we go to Norm's Wayside. Great. I have the pizza. Mary, it has the, and we have our kids go, so they have breakfast, but they have pizza for breakfast. I love it. But it was packed, right? And one of my pet peeves, and it happened here, you got a table for 6 and 2 people are sitting at it. You got a table for 8 and 3 people are sitting at it. Yep. And it's maddening. But anyway, so we're standing and waiting, and the waitress had said, well, that group is leaving soon. And then we're there 5 minutes. A couple comes in with their kid. And when the table opened, I went, and Mary and I sat down at it. And, my kids came in, and we were not 2 at a table for 6. It was a table for 6. Well, Mary overheard the guy say, and she had mentioned it when the waitress came over. He was just saying that we took his table. So I said to him, excuse me, sir, I understand you think that we took your table. Well, we were here 5 minutes before you. I watched you come in. Oh, I didn't say that. I was saying that they got a table, so we'll get one next. And I said to Mary, Mary, and I knew what was going on. I said, Mary, you need to pay attention more. And she said, F you. He said it. And I knew that he did. But people, when confronted, will change the story, much like cowardly Tevin did. Instead of owning up to the fact
cowardly Tevin. Yeah.
You know what? I take it back. Let's go to break right now.
It's not quite cowardly lion.
He's the most cowardly.
Tevin.
No, I love that, Bob, that you called about, because you're exactly right. Once people say something under their breath just loud enough, and then you go, oh, what was that? Oh, nope, nothing.
Well, and here's what the guy did. He blamed his wife, because what she said, the exact thing was, he said to his wife, if you weren't playing a game there with our kid, they were like trying to get one of those, using the claw to get the little ducks. We would have gotten our that guy. They took our table. No, we didn't, pal. Pay attention. Anyway.
Right. Okay, Sandy.
Yes, sir.
Burger King, West Broadway, and Penn Avenue.
Yeah.
I believe the Burger King's still there. I'm not sure if it is or not. But I'm a teenage boy. The place had just opened, and there was an argument over a table, right? I had that table. No, you didn't. We had the table. Blah, 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 blah. Finally, I will never forget this. Finally, the guy who's sitting in the booth said, you know what? I'm not going to go through all this arguing with you over who got here first. Whoever. You can have the damn thing. As he's about to get up, lays down a bunt in the booth.
That's a great way to do it.
He farted in the booth.
Here, half your table.
Here, this table's all yours now, buddy. I thought that was pretty damn cool.
Oh,
actually.
leave the noxious fumes behind.
Nice guy. That was such a North Side thing to do.
That's
There's
really
no question
good.
about it.
You know where you see it a lot on airplanes when you're in my seat. Who cares? Look at all the other seats that are available. There's only 10 of us on the flight.
God, Catherine returned home yesterday. Normally an hour and 15-minute flight. It was 7 hours long. She sat on the airplane for 7 hours because of weather conditions in the southeast.
They made her sit in a tarmac?
I guess so.
Oh, that's
that must have been a thrill.
No, you need to back the plane up. Go back to the.
I want to be in a super uncomfy like terminal chair so I can go pay for like overpriced food. Yep. Don't keep me on the plane.
It's absolutely true, isn't it? So Sandy,
yes,
Twins has so far won 2 games. So
other than the Gophers, they haven't scored many runs either. But again, I mean, it's preseason. They're working things out.
No,
Check it.
I understand.
They're going to have a good lineup. And the question is, like, they'll have really good relief pitching, and their starting pitching, if they figure on that 5th guy or figure out who it is, they should be okay.
Right.
So I wouldn't worry
love
about
baseball.
them.
Look, the season's right around the corner. It's, what is it today? March 4th. It is March 4th. The Command.
Yeah, was it March 28th they open against the Royals?
Was it
I think
20? I
that's
thought
what
it was
is.
earlier than that.
No, I thought. Well, I could check.
No, you're probably right. You're probably right, Sandy. I'm distracted by the fact they've only won 2 games and they've tied, I think, like 4 different
they've had ties.
A lot of ties in the spring training era. But no, I'm a huge Twins fan. I can't wait for the Twins to start playing. I love that stadium. My God, you go from the Metrodome to that's like going from hell to heaven. I mean, it's amazing.
It's not too bad, is it? Yeah, the 28th of March, they get the
28th of March.
3 games in Kansas City, then a couple of games in Milwaukee, and then they come home. The home opener's April 4th, Thursday, against the Guardians.
We should go on a Tom Barnard Show tour, go to Kansas City, and then go to Arthur Bryant's and get some ribs, which is phenomenal.
I'm listening.
And then we'll follow him to Milwaukee, and we'll go to Arts Performing Center, which is right next to the Performing Arts Center. Arts Performing Center is a strip club. I've never been in it, but I heard they get really filthy in there. That's all I've heard. I don't know. It's true or not.
Now you're speaking Bob's language.
You know what, Tom? Actually, honestly, you would if you do it with a bus, you will fill the bus. Or buses.
We should do buses and go. We should, absolutely. Except the only problem is everybody sues everybody now on those kinds of things.
In buses?
Oh, God. Oh, you went over a pothole. My back is broken. It's like, settle down.
If we're going to get ribs, I'm not suing anybody.
That's the waiver. Get the waiver for him.
Arthur Bryant's, man, is nothing like, I told you, Arthur Bryant's, there's nothing like it in the world. I just love that place.
Well, and to me, I would say the beauty of it is you would have most of the, yes, you have the Thursday, Friday show. And then you're talking about basically the week. You're getting through the weekend. Then you go early into the next week in Milwaukee. You could be back in the studio Thursday.
See? No, the Hubbard's own any stations in either Milwaukee or Kansas City? I don't think they do. But do they?
They might. I mean, they got a lot of they have a vast empire.
They do, yeah. So I don't know. But I don't know if they have them in Kansas City and Milwaukee or not. But we just do the shows from their studios.
Okay, AJ can set you up right outside the stadium. He can push a couple of cords, few buttons. He's on his way. And by the way, I noticed because in the studio chat, Tom and Tevin studio, AJ host. Congratulations on your ascension to host.
Oh yeah, so he put that up there himself, by the way.
That's only because I create the room here. Let's not go throwing around that title willy-nilly. It's a technical term by StreamYard.
Well, I was going to say maybe he wouldn't be pushing the buttons and drawing the cables. He may have one of you do it.
Yeah, get out to the bus, Tom.
Now that he's the host. Well, you can get one of those buses like, and they have them where you could just do the show right from the bus.
They do, yeah,
they fancy ones. Yep. The John Madden Cruiser was like that, I think.
The only problem with that is we work for the only broadcast company in America left that has any money. The rest of them are going tits up. So I don't think they're going to want to expose any of their cash to that kind of thing. It'd just be a guess.
Yeah. But they may go for the whole bus idea, though.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe.
You do a kind of, you don't ask for permission, you ask for forgiveness. You hand them the invoice and say, hey, we won't do it next time.
That's exactly right. There's no
I also
question
would
about it.
think that the Hubbard Group has radio stations, friends that they could work with in these cities.
I would think so. Yes, absolutely. I know we used to do it all the time on the Q. Go to Nashville. We'd go to Florida. We went all over the damn place. Key West. Those were the great trips, man. I love going to Key West.
Tom, if you announced you were doing this, no matter how many buses you had, it would sell out within the hour.
Probably true.
No
we
question.
Would have fun. Well, we should talk to Dan and Amy about it.
And here's what you do, though. You have the trip going to Kansas City, and then that same bus or buses goes to Milwaukee. But then you have another crew or bus leaving that just goes to Milwaukee. So you could, you don't have to take the entire trip, and you have some that just go to Kansas City. But you're on the main bus that does the circuit of going to both of them.
Well, I'm ready to go. You want to do it? I'll do it. No question about it.
I think it'd be a lot of fun. And what you got me is not baseball. You got me on the ribs.
Oh no, the ribs at Arthur Bryant's. You've had Arthur Bryant's ribs before, Bob, haven't you?
No, you know what? I don't. I think
Sandy.
I've had when you and I went down there. We had the other rib place. What's the other
Gates?
one? Gates is where we went.
Yeah,
because the Gates is the one that has the academy right in the parking lot, right?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's where we went. And I think you've told Tevin you were going down there to do a voiceover, and my wife was working the time for Northwest, so I could fly for free.
Yep.
So I'm going, and we just went. Tom, you should have seen the faces of these guys. He did it in one take, and we were out the door and on our way to Gates.
It's true. It took about 4 minutes.
Yeah. He had like 15 guys crammed in a room. Oh, we'll be here for hours. One take, boom, done. Let's go.
Goodbye. I don't know why that is either, Al. To this day, I have no idea. Is it a brain malfunction? Is that what it is?
When they want you to, let's do one for you or for me or for somebody
I don't want to
else.
do one for me, okay?
Yeah.
Leave me alone. How about shut your cake hole? How about that action?
Yeah, would have worked out. That was Western Auto, I think, they're based
Yeah,
there, right?
I think you're right. I think you're absolutely right. I used to do them all back in the day before the local newspapers decided to trash the piss out of me and destroy my career. But, other than that, it was great.
And who was the first Hollywood guy that started taking a lot of it?
Hollywood guy.
Morgan Freeman does them now, but it was who? Gene Hackman was one of the first.
Gene
right?
Hackman was one of them. Yeah. I worked with him a couple of times actually. He's a very nice guy. He wrote a couple of books and then did book tours. Just a really, really good guy. Gene Hackman is. But I don't know. I just back in the old days. Yeah, voiceover is just not part of the deal anymore because all the wonderfully caring and giving and loving people that are lined up politically. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and this is such a non-political state.
Oh my God, is it getting worse by the day? I mean, honest to God, every day it's something. You breathed in fresh air, cut it out. Like, what?
That's my air.
Yeah, it's my air. Get away from me. Yeah, I don't know. The whole world is nuts now. It's unfortunate. I'm gonna go hide.
Here's what's sad. There are now better presidents in Argentina and El Salvador than what we have here. Those two presidents, they're both young guys and new. They're changing all the problems in their country they are getting rid of.
You know what? I think I'll run for president, and for the first time in history, when I run for president, I won't say one negative thing about my opponents. Why do you bother doing that? Oh, this MAGA guy. Oh, that Joe Biden, he's horrible. No, MAGA's terrible. No, Joe Biden's terrible. It's like, you want me to be the president or not? Either vote for me or shut up or leave me alone.
Well, usually, I think in the last one, Kamala Harris, nobody went after Biden harder than her, and she winds up the vice president.
Yeah,
all things are forgiven.
That is true.
So that's why Nikki Haley will probably be the VP, because she's been going after Trump hard.
Wouldn't doubt it. But
she won the District of Columbia. Good for her.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, it's the
Got
only
a few
one
friends in the D.C., does she?
Yeah, the only one she's won so far.
No, I don't. Like I said, I don't like that when they do that. When they go out after each other hard, and you're horrible, and you're a horrendous person, and oh my God, what a horrible. I've never liked that. Maybe I'll run for president next time.
But see, when they go after you, you just say, "Yeah, what else you got?" I mean, obvious, because people have gotten a lot smarter about it. They don't buy into that stuff. I mean, if they did,
good. I hope
Trump
so.
would be a hash mark. people are still voting for him despite all these things being said about him.
Yeah, true. I just wish everybody'd shut up. And why don't you run the country? Why don't we do this? Why don't we run the country so people aren't all going broke? That'd be nice. What do you
And not into the ground.
And not, yes, don't run it into the ground. Exactly. All right, Sandy, what else you got? Yep.
Well, I want to mention a couple of things. One, this is for AJ. Kirill Kaprizov, 5th fastest to 500 points. He tied the score twice and then won it with his hat trick, his third goal.
I think you mean 300 points.
What did I say?
500.
Oh, 300, yes. Excuse me. 5th fastest. I had the 5s in my mind.
Yep. And
his fastest to 300.
Third hat trick of the season. He's already...
That's tied the team record already, right?
No. He is behind Marian Gaborik, who has 9 while on the Wild. So he's got 4 in his time.
No. In one season, I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
3 in one season is what he tied that record.
Yes. Yeah. That one. It sucks because he's just willing this team to wins, and I want them to lose now because the trade deadline's Friday. They're not going to do anything that is significant. In addition, that is going to make them make up these points. They lost 2 big games against St. Louis and Nashville before beating the very awful Sharks yesterday. So it's going to be an interesting week.
Well, I want to mention about your Timberwolves are no longer in first place in the Western Conference. Oklahoma City is. They're tied now with Denver. It's just horrible. But what I want to mention is Lindsey Whalen got fired at the U as a women's basketball coach.
Yep.
Their last 2 games for the women's basketball team without Lindsey Whalen, they lost by 46 to Iowa and Caitlin Clark. And yesterday, they lost by 58 to Penn State. 90-38.
Oh, I saw them post the final score on Twitter.
90-34.
I kind of respect that they posted the score because that's embarrassing.
That's brutal.
But I mean, why? Why did you get rid of Whalen and this coach? How about a little D, coach? Mark Coyle is he's not a good AD.
No, he's not at all. He's terrible. I will tell you, I never met her. She used to be a neighbor of mine back in the day. Lindsey Whalen was.
Great.
Over in Golden Valley. I never did get a chance. I would see her walking on the street and all that stuff, but we never talked. I thought she was a terrific coach, terrific player, terrific coach. I still don't understand why they got rid of her.
And a wonderful person too. I mean, because I covered her from her freshman year on, and I mean, it's like some of those basketball players and hockey players, Natalie Darwitz and Chrissy Wendell. That group of women's hockey players was terrific.
Yeah.
Lindsey Whalen was terrific and her teammates. I mean, that was a fun time to cover those teams because they had great, not just players, but they were really nice people too. It didn't go to their head, and she didn't. Not Lindsey is. There's not an ego on her that sure she always wanted to be the best at what she did, and she would have turned this program around. I don't think she was given enough time.
I would have to agree with you on that one. There's no question about it. No, when's the last time we had a good athletic director at the U?
You have to go. Probably when I came here. Who was the guy that was back in the 80s? The guy that had been he was like the Heisman Trophy runner-up. The heck was his name?
Yeah, you're
Paul,
right.
What was Paul's last?
Giel
might have been.
Paul Giel. There you go. I think you're right about that. Yeah, I don't understand it. I got to ask you on the way out. I got to ask you a question because I've never known this. And I've never asked anybody. Why is it called a hat trick? What does that mean?
They used to throw their hats on the ice. Isn't that why?
Yeah.
So they'd score 3 or whatever, and they 3 goals. They'd throw their hats on the ice. Really?
Yeah. It was a sign of salutation because it was the first one was so unheard of that people were like, we don't know how to contain ourselves. And so they were just like,
oh.
And this is back when everybody, a hat was a mandatory,
like a top hat or something.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
AJ, who started that whole octopus thing?
That's my question. Because you got to sneak that in.
Octopus in.
So that in Detroit, this is back when the playoffs, you had to win eight games to win the Stanley Cup. So the 8 legs, octopus. Detroit is hockey town. I mean, one of the original 6 franchises. So that is goes back to them. That's why it's so linked to Detroit because they were so dominant back in that time. And it's like an everyday thing. Somebody tapes a squid, an octopus to their stomach, sneaks into the arena, and then they throw it over the glass and it's on the ice. And that's It's like a normal thing. You slap on the wrist and they're fine.
I'd go to some sushi place and get a few pieces of octopus and toss those on.
Absolutely. Calamari. Just toss calamari on the ice. That'd be phenomenal. Little squid action. All right. Wait a minute. Somebody was going to say something.
Not me.
Nope.
Oh, never mind then. Forget it. You're out of the mix. All right, Sandy, a brilliant report, I thought.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty good, too. You know, I think Tevin and
Typical.
AJ had an element to it that is rare and usually in radio because they actually contribute something.
Sure, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Tevin's always telling you when to get rid of me, and AJ knows his puck.
He does indeed, and we know that you'll be back with us on Friday.
I sure hope so.
We'll
Okay,
see.
the reason, here's why I say that. Great. This woman, the waitress at this restaurant I mentioned, every time I pay, she goes, "See you next week unless you die." Okay.
Well, what?
It's like a lucky thing now to say that
What?
because I've made it every time she said it.
Unless
so I'll see
you
you Friday
die.
unless I die.
Good
Now it's a running
God.
joke.
I guess.
So it's
All right,
funny. I
Sandy.
think it's funny. All right.
Talk to you later in a week, man.
Yep.
Thanks,
Bye.
pal. Ladies and gentlemen, Bob Sansevere Sports brought to you by Bradshaw and Bryant, personal injury lawyers seeking justice for the injured. Contact Bradshaw and Bryant at minnesotapersonalinjury.com. That's minnesotapersonalinjury.com. Take a break. Be right back. Look at some news headlines, see what's happening in the world. Of course, Kristyn Burtt coming up later on this half hour. Have you enjoyed Minnesota's non-winter this year? Want to enjoy the warmth whenever you want? Two Minnesotans can help you live that dream. Matt Carlson from Realty One Group Destination Key West grew up in Litchfield, Minnesota. Started out helping his friends find homes locally and in Florida, and now he can help you. If you've considered living in the warmth of Florida, now is the time to reach out to your new friend in Realty, Matt Carlson. It's a buyer's market now, and your Minnesotan friend Matt can help you with a new home here or in the Florida Keys. And if you need some guidance with financing, Kristen Eklund from Coast to Coast Mortgage can help. Kristen is Matt's preferred lender, can finance anywhere in Florida, and like Matt is one of us, as she hails from the Sartell, Alexandria area. So if you're looking at a new home in Minnesota, or maybe that second home or retirement place in Florida, trust your new local friends. Contact Matt and Kristen. Visit onekeywest.com. That's onekeywest.com, or call Matt at 612-791-2345, 612-791-2345, and work with local professionals you can trust.
Hi guys, it's Chris Egert from Channel 5 Morning News, along with my friends Megan Newquist and Ken Barlow. In the morning, we pride ourselves on sharing people's stories. I've been lucky enough to be part of this 5 Eyewitness News morning team for more than a decade now. This is where I've raised my kids and working alongside my friends for all these years. We're like a family too.
We are family, Chris. Working with you and Ken and Hannah, it is such an honor to help folks start their day every morning on Channel 5. We get to catch people up on the news that's happening, and Hannah is here to keep an eye on the traffic around town.
And when it comes to weather, I know people rely on me to plan their day and get their family out the door. Over the last 10 years, there are so many memories and so many laughs. I just love sharing the forecast alongside you guys.
I feel the same way, Ken. To all you who start your day with us here on Channel 5, we think of you as family too. Thanks for turning on 5 Eyewitness News in the mornings.
Hello, I'm Brad Huckle, President and Chief Lending Officer at North American Banking Company.
And I'm Michael Bilski, CEO at North American Banking Company.
As a locally owned and operated community bank, we work with many multi-generational businesses.
Take Personal Care Dentistry of Roseville, for example. Dr. Walter Hunt, also known as Painless to me, has been a longtime customer of the bank since we opened the bank in 1998.
When his son Kyle was ready to join the practice, they wanted to expand quickly.
With their additional space and equipment, they now are able to see more patients each day while providing the same level of care and service.
Okay, guys, I'll take it from here. If you run a family business or any kind of business for that matter, you should be banking with Brad and Mike over at North American Banking Company. Every time I deal with them or their team, I know I'm working with experienced professional bankers. So why not bank with my banker? North American Banking Company, a better banking experience, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
You're listening to
a year. Why not treat yourself to a new gun from K&L Surplus? What the hell?
Whoops! Wrong mouse. Wrong mouse.
Wrong mouse.
That's on me.
So we got to go back to the old. No. We're gonna get that going. Is that the plan?
We might have to, but we're all good now.
I just saw a headline. I don't know what the hell this means, but Now they're saying that now we're not supposed to drink coffee when we wake up. Common things people do that they don't realize are actually rude. Now that's the one I wanted to read. Common things people do that they don't realize would be actually rude.
Mm-hmm.
How would you not know something's rude?
Yeah, I don't know. There's just like cultural differences, I guess. Maybe like there's somewhere like if you eat all your food off your plate, it's disrespectful to the chef or something in some countries. So I don't know, things like that. Yeah, because they think, oh, I didn't give you enough food, so you're still hungry. Type
Well,
of
it's
thing.
on you, not me.
Yeah, no. There's
You know what I mean? Okay, here we go. Let's
right.
be honest. We're all, I guess, all imperfect members of society. For every pet peeve you have about something someone else does, you are probably annoying someone else without realizing it. There's a thread online about the things people do or say without realizing how rude they are. Do you agree, and or are you guilty of any of them? Some of these things they say are absolutely rude things to do, and if you do it, don't lie. You got to admit it.
All right.
Listening to anything in public with the volume turned up. No, I never do that.
No.
Never. Parking a shopping cart in the middle of the aisle, even temporarily, so others can't pass. Nope, never do that either.
Nope. I'm anti-shopping cart.
I agree, actually.
Yeah, I think we've talked about this. I'm more of a basket guy now.
Basket, yeah, absolutely. Stepping off a busy escalator and then stopping to look around so others have to awkwardly get off while trying. So you're blocking the bottom of an escalator? What a stupid ass you are.
I hit that bottom step, or I guess the top sometimes too.
Yeah.
At speed.
Oh,
I am
gone.
out of there.
You're gone.
I leave a dust cloud.
Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. If someone declines alcohol or drugs, insisting that they partake, looking disappointed or asking them why they're not drinking or smoking, what's none of your business? How about that action?
Yeah.
This just sounds like an awful person.
I know, it's terrible. You're absolutely right. Just an awful
drunk
person.
guy blocking the bottom of an escalator off.
Why won't you drink with me?
Come on, man. Letting your dog jump on someone else. Also, don't let your kids jump on someone. I don't care if your dog or kids jump on me. That's fine. Do you care about that?
I have a very jumpy little dog that gets
Oh, do
excited
you?
because he wants everybody to pet him, and that's like my biggest pet peeve is when I'm like, just stop jumping on people. He's cute.
He's
So people will
fine.
allow it, but I'm
Yeah.
like, stop.
Oh, God, here's one. Looking at your phone while someone talks to you. I see people doing that all the time. It's like, yeah, really? I'm not paying any attention to what you're saying. That does happen all the time. I see it. I
Yeah.
don't do it, but whatever.
I'll admit I do that, but I feel like it's only like I try to preface it where I'm like, hey, I'm working on something right now, and this happens at work all the time where it's like I do stuff on socials. I have to like keep up to date on something's going on there, so that could be important where it's like I'm checking my phone. I'm not constantly staring. It's more of a quick check. Okay, now we're back.
Yeah.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Commenting on weight or physique in any way, even if it's meant as a compliment. Hey, you looking good? Why can't you say that to people? You look good, man.
Yeah, I mean, I usually just don't comment on anybody's look unless there's something like, hey, something is showing maybe that shouldn't be showing, or you got some toilet paper on your shoe. Otherwise,
yeah, there you go.
The rule I was told is if they can't change it in 5 minutes, you shouldn't bring it up.
Yeah.
If it's something like if you got something in your teeth, yeah, I'll let you know about it. But hey, you got a giant thing like a scar above your eye, like that's not going anywhere.
Hey, Betty, you're looking a little big today. We're gonna leave that one at home.
Why? Come on, you're not as fat as you used to be. That's a compliment, isn't it?
Backhanded, I guess we'll say.
Backhanded compliment. Giving unsolicited parenting advice, even indirectly through your own social media posts. Some people get a preaching, shaming vibe that way. I would never talk about somebody else's parenting on social media.
I keep those comments to myself. I just
absolutely
control your kid.
Yeah.
And finally, saying no offense is often followed by something very offensive. If you feel like you need a buffer like no offense, then you should probably reconsider vocalizing it at all. I don't get involved in any of this kind of stuff. I always consider that to be none of my business. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say I do the I don't want to be this guy, but I do that way too much when I absolutely want to be that guy. Well, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be that guy, but that jacket looks terrible, you know? So I'm like,
That's a terrible jacket you got on there. All right, we shall take a break. Be right back. Kristyn Burtt will join us right after this. Hey, it's a new year. Why not treat yourself to a new gun from K&L Surplus and Ammo? I personally know Jim, the owner, and I'm not making that up. He's a great guy. First of all, I don't do commercials for people I don't like. So there you go. But Jim's a great guy. He's been in the firearms business for over 15 years and knows how to set you up with the perfect firearm for your needs. K&L offers one of the widest selection of firearms in the region, including Beretta shotguns, Antica rifles. High school trap teams are starting to form now, and K&L has a great selection of SKB shotguns. K&L has Tika and SKB both in right and left-hand models. K&L also has a broad range of ammunition, including both American and European calibers. If you have a collection of guns that you'd like to sell, call Jim at K&L so he can help you get the best price through his network. K&L Surplus and Ammo is on Lake Drive in Lino Lakes and open Tuesday through Saturday. You can also visit them online, www.klgunstore.com.
Recently, Jim Paul of Valley Buick GMC was contacted by a company that does on-site sales. Jim was confused.
Wait, they don't know anything about us, our staff, our reputation, most importantly, our customers.
Hey, pal, no problem. We do them all over the country. You know, get the manager off the roof sale, inflatable gorilla sale, and our favorite, the 13-hour sale with a giant clock that goes to 13. Urgency, baby. We bring our crew because, well, your people are, let's just say, a little laid back.
And the pricing?
Nothing special, sport.
But Jim thought we price competitively every day. Our prices are special. We definitely don't need these guys. But sale does convey some urgency, so we made a bold decision for his fine dealerships.
Announcing the Valley Buick GMC 365-day sale. And we can even extend it a couple years or so.
I got the air dancer guy, scratch-offs, plastic keys, bubble machine.
Valley Buick GMC in Apple Valley or Hastings or valleycardealers.com. Hurry.
The new Tom Barnard Show is proud to have partners like Bradshaw and Bryant, MyPillow, and North American Banking Company founder, chairman, and president, Mike Bilski.
I've advertised on Tom's show for years, and the reason is simple. My business is recognized because of the ads, and that recognition has created growth. What business doesn't want to grow? I highly recommend the Tom Barnard Morning Show for your advertising.
Grow results for your business by partnering with the Tom Barnard Show. Visit TomBarnardShow.com, keyword partner. You're listening to the Tom Barnard Podcast.
We are. Oh, Kitty.
She's back. She took a hiatus from the show.
Why did she?
I don't know, but all of a sudden she's back.
Is it my fault?
Maybe it was. Maybe
That's
she
what I'm
wasn't
thinking.
interested. Just needed a little break from you. But she's back.
I got a really nice thing because I finally jumped back on social media after 12 years of being off social media because I got sick of telling people to go F themselves. But I haven't done that so far. I've been on social media now, I think, for like 8 days or 9 days, something like that. I have not told one person to F off. What do you think of that?
We need to have a little sign. How many days has it been since Tom told someone to F off?
It's like,
We'll have to go to like 0, if it happens.
It's like incident counters at work and so whatever, 100 days since an accident. Yeah.
You're very chatty on Facebook. People are digging it, Tom.
It was very nice of them. But I will tell you something. Should I take this personally or not? No, did you ever work with Pat Miles when you were in town, Kristyn?
I did not.
You know who she is, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pat just followed me this morning, as a matter of fact. I love Pat. She's been a friend for years and years. One of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet. But so I clicked and I followed her. A guy named Terry Barnard, who happens to be my oldest brother, followed me over the weekend, but there's no place to follow him. What's that all about?
Oh, you're a page, so you can't follow back. You
I
can
can follow Pat
he
Miles.
needs to add a follow button, but you can't actually add him as a friend unless you add him as a friend on your actual Facebook
really?
account. Yeah.
He's my
Because you have
brother.
two different things going on. I know.
I
It's
even
very
used
confusing.
him. I used him as my example when that guy got caught sneaking 170 pounds worth of meth and cocaine and fentanyl across the border. I said that'd be like me carrying my brother Terry across the border because he weighs about $170. How the hell did you get that across the border with no one noticing it?
Bill heard that story the other day. He was listening and he's like, "You told the story about your grandmother's lady parts." He's like, "We're just putting everything out there." I'm like, My grandmother would actually appreciate that I did that. She was a hoot. So
I understand.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News is brought to you by North American Banking Company, Bilski. Go to nabankco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. So there's a new show. Well, I think I mentioned this to you last week, Tracker. It's really pretty good.
Yeah, we talked about it with Justin Hartley.
That's what I
And we
thought,
said we were debating on like whether you would like This Is Us, I think, or like to make like the 6-7 season
that's right.
commitment. Because it was sad. Yeah, it's a sad show.
What
But if
is
you're
it
looking
about?
for we talked about that. The triplets, the triplets were born, one of the triplets passed away, and then they adopt a black child.
Oh,
and
that's
so then
right. Yeah,
they're
you told me
raised as the 3 triplets, and they're all completely different too. Like they would have been fraternal twins, no matter fraternal, I guess, triplets.
Yeah.
I was like, gosh, twins, triplets, no matter what. So, but it's really well. Like I said, it's well acted. Justin Hartley's great. Sterling K. Brown's great. Mandy Moore's great.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe I'll give it a whirl. See what the deal is.
You've got a lot. You've got a lot in your list.
I do
Did
have
you
a lot
start
on my
Shogun, or are you starting it now that Catherine's back?
Probably now. Catherine's back. We'll probably start it. Is it good though?
Oh yeah,
Really?
It's epic. It's epic. I
Okay.
mean, Tevin, put your 2 cents in about Shogun.
It's amazing. I was talking to somebody about it the other day, and I was like, it feels like almost watching a movie. Like it's so beautifully done, and everything feels so big. But you still get to know all the characters. It is a lot to kind of keep track of because there's 5 main leaders, and you're like, wait, which one are you? Which one are you? And then there's like a daughter and a niece and all this. But it's phenomenal. Like I 10 out of 10 recommend it to everybody.
I need to find out the budget for that because it's so rich. Like there's the depth of like characters, costumes, hair, like everything is so well done.
I like it. I'll have to give it a whirl. So who stars in it?
Nobody that you would probably like. Yeah,
No?
I was like nobody. It's not like Richard Chamberlain is back or anything else like that.
Yeah, there was one actor that I recognized, one of the like leaders, like one of the main leaders on there that I've seen in other things. But other than that, it was pretty much a bunch of people I've never heard of.
Yeah.
So where's David Carradine? Isn't he in it? Come on, let's go.
Oh, here I'm gonna butcher this name. Hiroyuki Sanada.
I think it's Frank Sinatra.
That's the guy that I
Frank Sinatra
remember.
makes an appearance in the middle of Shogun and sings "My Way."
Yeah, because
now the end is near.
Slicing. Well, we're so unhinged this morning. What is happening?
Tom,
I've
he
only
was
been
the-
here 3 minutes.
he was the guy in John Wick. He was one of the people in John Wick 4. There was a Japanese actor.
Don't start Tom on John Wick and how long it was. And how many people died.
I did
He
watch
plays,
it.
like Yakuza guys a
Yeah,
lot. He's got that look to him. Kristyn, can I ask you something? There's been like a dialogue about like budgeting on stuff recently. 2 things that have been compared pretty closely is Disney's Percy Jackson like miniseries like show, and that had like a $15 million budget compared to Netflix's the Avatar, and like people are saying one looks vastly more overproduced and like theatrical than the other.
Yeah.
Where can those budgets go? Because it's like if it says 15 million for each, why does one look significantly better? Is it just like, and they're employing children actors, so I feel like nobody's breaking the bank here. Where does that budget go?
Yeah, where does that budget go? A lot of it goes to marketing. And that can become a huge part of the budget. And oftentimes when we hear, like, just for example, in films, if we're like, it was $100 million film, it really wasn't, because oftentimes they won't tack on the marketing costs until after. So it could have been like $150 million film once the marketing costs are in there. But for TV, the marketing costs are built in because it's not just because it's an ongoing process of like you're constantly promoting it. You know, you've got a 10 episode season, so you're not going to just promote season or episode 1 and then forget about it. You're spreading that out throughout the 10 episodes. But I would bet that a majority of that comes through marketing. And for us here in Los Angeles, especially when it's Netflix or Disney, we are wallpapered with billboards and everything else. I mean, and it doesn't matter like what part of LA you're in, because a lot of people are voting members of, whether it's, you know, for TV Academy or whether it's for the Oscars. They want you to be bombarded with every TV show and movie all the time. There's no escape from it. So they want you to think about it when it comes to awards, because awards, even though it seems like we're just patting ourselves on the back, which we are, of course, it does result in money on the back end too, because it will result in a longer box office run, or it'll bring more eyeballs to Netflix or whatever else that is. So marketing is a big thing.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So you look at that. Marketing is, I suppose there's so much competition. You have to do a good job marketing, I would imagine.
100%. And, there's been a lot of talk about marketing with Netflix because they're so desperate to have that Oscar winner.
Yep.
And they will invest money in things you're like, what? That would never be considered for an Emmy or an Oscar or anything else like that. But they will throw money at it. And that's where a lot of the budget money goes.
You know, it's interesting, and maybe I'm wrong, and I'm probably missing a couple of things, but I think Hulu does a great job with its programming. Max does a good job. I just don't think that Netflix and what's the other one? Prime Video?
Amazon Prime.
Amazon Prime. Their shows are okay. I don't think they're as good as Hulu's or Max's.
I find a lot to watch on Netflix, I'll be honest, because I enjoy a good documentary, and I think nobody's doing
I do too.
documentaries. Well,
Yep.
HBO does them, but they do them less frequently.
Mhm.
So I do think that they have a strong documentary sector, but I will say that nobody cranks out documentaries the way Netflix does. And I know every Friday, if I turn on my TV, that I know there's going to be a new documentary, and which leads me to just say that Full Swing is coming back tomorrow, and that was one of the most enjoyable sports series last year. And I can't stand golf. You are never going to see me watch a golf match or anything else like that. I'm not going to take up the sport. I never will. It's not. I mean, I might do miniature golf, but that's about it, or putt putt, whatever everyone calls
at
it.
that badly, really?
I just don't think it's interesting. I'd rather be on the tennis court. If you're going to put me in a country club, you're not going to find me on the golf course. You'll find me on the tennis court.
I'll find you in the bar. Don't lie.
No, I want to
She
be
goes,
running
"No."
around. No, I was like, I do not want a hangover.
Okay.
You could find me at the pool with a delicious pina colada in my hand.
See, there you go.
But you can't drink a lot of pina coladas because you get it's just a bunch of sugar and then
But
you're
that's
just
not hot.
full.
Yeah.
And if you're in a bathing suit, you don't want to feel gross. So no.
Yeah,
But okay.
I was just very quickly. I was never a big alcohol drinker, like boozy stuff. I drank beer and wine because I don't know what the hell it is. It's alcohol's alcohol, is it not?
Yeah.
I would think. I could drink wine, I could drink beer, everything would be fine. But once I went over to the whiskey scotch type of deal, what are you looking at? Where'd that come from?
Yeah. Well, if let's say you drank whiskey once and got into a fight or into an argument, and then now the next time you drink, you're like, well, I can't drink whiskey because I'm going to get into an argument. And then when you're already predisposed to, anticipating getting into an argument, is more likely to happen.
You think that's what it is?
But would you drink a margarita, like a little tequila?
I've never had a margarita in my life.
Oh, it makes me giggly, but I only need one. So I'm such a lightweight, so it's good.
See, I gotta believe that I'd probably get pissed off. I got a lot of hidden stuff. See, that's the one thing that people are never honest about. All that baggage I got from being a little kid right up to today, if I drink alcohol, it comes out every time. I can hide it if I'm sober. But
Yeah, it affects your mood. I mean,
it
that's
does, no
it
doubt.
can be for a lot of people. It's a depressant. I mean, for me, I'm a very happy drunk. But one drink is like, and if I have like 2 sips of a second drink, I am like, whew. I mean, I start getting slurry. Like my mouth starts going. I can't drink that much at all. My body can't metabolize it.
Okay, so we can close with this, but you can't tell her.
Okay.
Many, many years ago, Catherine and I had just started, well, we hadn't just started dating, but, we were about to get married and all that stuff. And so I come home one night and her car's in the garage, but I can't find her. So I'm looking around, and I go in the guest bathroom, and there she is in the tub, naked. No hot water, just in the tub naked. And I said, honey, were you out drinking with your buddies? Yeah, we went out. I said, well, what were you drinking? And she goes, Blash Ruskins. Blash Ruskins. Okay, no problem. will take care. It's the only time I can remember ever seeing her drunk. The only time. She likes her cocktails, but she never has more than a couple. She's just never been a big drinker. For some reason that night she did, and never again, apparently, I guess.
It's not a great feeling when you're like the next day, you're like, oh, what happened?
Oh, God. I've been there.
Oh, what did I say? But then you look at your photos and you're like, wow, that was interesting.
Oh, I understand exactly what you're talking about. There's no question about it. All right. Anything I should be watching on TV?
As I said, Full Swing is coming back tomorrow.
Swing,
I think that's
okay.
going to be one of the big entries this week. The only show that is premiering tonight is So You Think You Can Dance. So that dance competition show is back without Nigel Lithgow because he has sexual harassment and assault charges against him. Yes.
Really?
Because, yes, Paula Abdul is one of his accusers.
Really?
Yep. So he exited the show, even though he filmed about 4 episodes. And so far, we have seen from the preview episodes, they did not release the first episode, but they did edit Nigel out. So you can see like how the table's kind of lopped off, weirdly edited. Like it's not centered. Like everything all of a sudden is shifted this way to the other 3 judges, Comfort Elson Holker and Max Chmerkovsky. And I'm like, well, you got to do what you got to do.
It's very true. All right, Pally, we'll talk to you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Looking forward to it. Kristyn Burtt Entertainment News brought to you by North American Banking Company. Go to nabanco.com to learn more. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. That is going to do it for today. Any closing statements?
It's a hell of a start to the Monday, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. Great.
It's a good
great
show.
Yeah.
Not a problem at all.
Good job, both you guys. Way to go. Way to carry me.
You too.
Nice try. I hate both of you. How about that? We'll close with that. I hate both of you. Get out of it. Anyway, yes, we will talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.